studying marriage, and as we see it in the Song of Solomon. I told you that I picked up a little book a few weeks ago, and it had a suggestion about the way this couple treated each other, and I decided to just go through on my own and pick out every little innuendo as to how this couple treated each other. And tonight I'm going to read for you and teach to you chapter 2 of the Song of Solomon, starting with verse number 8. Song of Solomon, chapter 2, and verse number 8. The voice of my beloved, behold, he cometh leaping upon the mountains, skipping upon the hills. My beloved is like a roe or a young hart. Behold, he standeth behind our wall. He looketh forth at the windows, showing himself through the lattice. My beloved spake, and said unto me, Rise up, my love, my fair one, and come away. For lo, the winter is past, the rain is over and gone. The flowers appear on the earth. The time of the singing of birds is come, and the voice of the turtle is heard in our land. And that word turtle was the word they called for turtle dove. It was a bird, and it was often called turtle, or we call it turtle dove. The fig tree putteth forth her green figs, and the vines with the tender grapes give a good smell. Arise, my love, my fair one, and come away. O my dove, thou art in the clefts of the rock, in the secret places of the stairs. Let me see thy countenance. Let me hear thy voice. For sweet is thy voice, and thy countenance is comely. How pretty. Take us the foxes, the little foxes that spoil the vines, for our vines have tender grapes. My beloved is mine, and I am his. He feedeth among the lilies until the daybreak, and the shadows flee away. Turn, my beloved, and be thou like a roe or a young hart upon the mountains of Ether. Our Heavenly Father, almost every line in these verses give us a model of behavior between a husband and wife. I pray you'd help us tonight to increase our propriety, our expression of love, and all the proper treatment for those who are our husband and wife. Bless our study together, please. Amen. Let me remind you of the probable teaching of the Song of Solomon. Nobody knows for sure. We do know that it is a love story between two young married people. The usual interpretation is what we call the shepherd's theory. If that be true, and I think it may be, we have a young man and a young lady who loved each other very much. Young man was a shepherd boy. Young lady was a Shunammite, and which is not part of the study. And the young man, for some reason, had to leave for a while his young bride. While he was gone, King Solomon saw this beautiful woman. And King Solomon wanted her for his harem and offered to her all kinds of delicacies and wealth and so forth if she would join his harem. She said, no, I won't do that. I'm in love with my shepherd boy. Now, this entire Song of Solomon has some of the sweetest and tenderest treatment between young husband and young wife you'll find anywhere. Tonight, we're going to continue. I've been teaching my third Wednesday night, and tonight I want to show you 14 different things in these verses 8 through 16, the way they treated each other as a model. We're sort of going to eavesdrop again tonight and see how this young couple behaved toward each other. I want you to notice in verse number 8, start off with, the voice of my beloved. Let's stop right there. I ended our lesson last week by talking about how important communication is between a husband and wife. Look at me. Husbands and wives talk to each other. Have conversation with each other. Now that means that you need to have something to talk about. That means that every wife, every husband ought to be somewhat knowledgeable about events and activities. If I would advise you young ladies who are married, any lady, a married lady, find out what your husband's hobbies are. Learn something about those hobbies. Same thing about you husbands. Find out the taste and the likes of your wife and learn something about those things. And it's so important. Now, I do want you to listen to me very carefully now. I really want to help you. You can slough this off as just being something sort of funny if you want to, but I'll tell you what you can do. You can have your marriage transformed in the next few days, weeks, if you want to. So I'm saying it is so important that you keep the line of communication open with each other. Now, to do that, that means you've got to be alone a lot. That means you can't be around the kids all the time. I was reading today in the, I think it's USA Today, but no, maybe not. Maybe it was yesterday in the York, Pennsylvania paper. By the way, I bring you greetings from the Kevin Trout, Mrs. Trout. And they're doing a wonderful work. They built a church up there running almost 800 in Sunday school now. And anyway, I was reading, it may have been the York, Pennsylvania paper, it may have been USA Today. But I was reading about the danger points for divorce, for example. The article said that surveys have found out that you can make it for 25 years, that you will grow closer to each other after 25 years. Now, they said the first 5 years are good years, but between the 5th year and the 25th year, that 20-year period there is the hardest period on a marriage, and more divorces come in that 20-year period between the 5th year and the 25th year than any other time. I wonder why. You know why. Because that's when you're rearing your children. That's when your children are starting to school. That's when you got all kinds of busy activities. You got to drive your kid here, and you're a mother, you're a taxi driver, and a taxidermist, and everything else. And you don't watch it, you won't have time for each other. Now listen to me, folks. Listen to me. You take time to talk to each other. Converse with each other. Communicate with each other. Now let's go on down to the next point. Verse 8, the voice of my beloved, behold, I like this, he cometh leaping upon the mountains, skipping upon the hills. My beloved is like a roe or a young hart. Now look at me. Second thing is, for your mate, keep physically fit. Now, I wish I could dwell on this about an hour. I want to tell you something. I have in one of my books, I think it's Buddhism and Lace, I'm not sure. I have this statement. With my body, I serve you. With my mind, I love you. I must keep my body well so I can serve you well. And I must keep my mind sound so I can love you properly. Something like that. Now look, don't you tell your mate that you love her, and then you're taking care of your body in such a slipshod way that you may leave her a widow for 40 years. I'm saying, if you love somebody, you'll want to be strong physically so you can serve them, and you'll want to be strong mentally so you can love them. I hesitate to get into this. I'm going to get in trouble. I would suggest, okay, I'll tell you this. I lost a lot of weight back a few years ago. I asked Ms. Hyles where she wanted me to get, what weight to get down to, and she told me. And I tried to hold my weight about where she said. We agreed between 190 and 195, and that's where I've been now. Before we took a little vacation, I dropped down to about 188, so I could enjoy getting back up to 195. But ask the question, wives, did it ever dawn on you what size your husband wants you to be? Then you ought to be that size. I know you've got thyroid trouble. Everybody does. Thank God for thyroid trouble. It's as convenient as the trains in the Hammond. Anytime you're late anywhere, I got hung up by a train. But now listen to me carefully. If you love that woman, you're going to want to stay in good health for her. If you love that man, you're going to want to stay in good health for him. I would suggest every woman in this room just go right up to your husband and say to your husband, how much would you like me to weigh? I'm going to guess he's going to say about 200 pounds less. Nobody's home, are they? But that's how much you ought to weigh. And you ought to keep physically fit for you. Look, please listen to me now. Please don't be. Let's laugh together. But I'm trying to get you to do something. Let's get this down. This is serious stuff. Some of you men, you don't take care of yourself. And you won't live to be 60 years old. And your wife's going to be a widow for 20 years. All because you didn't love her enough to take care of yourself. Now you listen to me. This young man here, it says, he said, the voice of my beloved, behold, he cometh leaping upon the mountains, skipping upon the hills. So I can be in pretty good shape. My beloved is like a roe or a young hart. Now, I'm up in years, as you know. But I'll tell you what you do. You check any young man you want to who's a preacher, and let me compare my work with his. Let me compare the hours I spend with his. And you put me on the same platform with any preacher in America. I don't care if he's 25, 30 years old. And you see who's the most active while he preaches. Now you listen to me. If you love that woman, you will want to be in good health. She said, and she's proud of it. She's proud. This is how I love to tell people how much I weigh. And I love to tell people how, but anyway. And both of us weigh every morning. Every morning. And I promise you this, her weight doesn't waver 2 pounds. Never. Never does. Somewhere between 195 197 all the time. I told her I wanted to get down to 190. But no, listen. You love that woman, then you be in good health. But you love her so much, you're going to go on to heaven and play tag with the angels while she's down there trying to make a living alone. If you love that man, you ought to be in good health. And by the way, you ought to do what you can to stay as pretty as he wants you to stay, and stay as healthy as he wants you to stay. And some of you guys, what's you going to do? You're going to eat yourself to death, and you're going to not take care of yourself, and you're going to get a hernia or something and never have it checked into. And what you're going to do is this. You're going to die, and your wife's going to collect that $200,000 insurance policy and marry somebody else, and he's going to enjoy your money. Boy, not me, buddy. I'm going to live to... She ain't going to get nobody else. But I'm trying to tell you that this woman said, my lover, my husband, my beloved is like a roe, like a young hart. I took some preachers down to Nassau who won the pastor school contest. And all of them were younger than I. We had to walk a good distance down to a boat, don't catch a boat and have a little boat ride. And 2 of them came to me and said, we can't keep up with you. You know, I'm talking about young fellows now, 35, 40 years of age. We can't keep up with you. You're walking too fast. Of course, I was on skates, but oh, listen to me. I'll do you a favor. I'll do your wife a favor. That's immeasurable. If I can talk you men into staying in decent health and shape. And if I could do I do your marriage a favor. If you ladies would decide that you're going to stay in good physical shape. So, first 2 things we see tonight about these 2 lovers. One is they learned to talk and communicate. Number 2, they kept physically fit. Look at verse 9. This is really cute. I probably shouldn't even read it and explain it, but here it is. My beloved is like a roe or a young hart. Now here it is. Behold, he standeth behind our wall. He looketh forth at the windows, showing himself through the lattice. This guy's window peeping on his wife. This guy wanted to be with her. And that's the next thing I want to say. Want to be with each other. Have your hobbies together. Some of you guys play golf with your buddies twice a week. Let your wife learn how to play golf. I'm not against you. Yeah, I am too. I'm against these guys who'd rather be with each other than be with their wives. And these women that rather be with each other than be with their husbands. Love to be together. Do things together. Go places together. He said, boy, if he wasn't there where she was, he hung around the place. He looked in the window. He wanted to be with her. And that's what you ought to do. Learn to want to be with each other. The phone rang. I'm home. And then somebody will say, Mrs. Hyles, that's the phone. And they'll say something about a question they want to ask her. And she'll say, I'm busy right now. Could you call me back? Now, why does she do that? Because she's not going to have a long conversation on the phone while I'm home. You know why? I'll kill her if she does. No. Listen to me now. You talked enough to each other. Listen to me now. Enjoy being with each other. Be more than just roommates. And I say this very carefully now. Be more than just lovers. Be best friends. I've said before that friendship is not a relationship. Friendship is a mortar that holds relationships together. Husband and wife will not stay together unless they're also friends. Mother and daughter, mother and son, father and daughter, father and son, brother and sister. Those are relationships. But friendship is not a relationship. Friendship is what everybody ought to be to everybody who is a relationship with them. And if you stay a friend, if your wife is your best friend, you're not going to have much trouble. If your husband is your best friend, you're not going to have much trouble. All right, I said, walk to be close to each other. Now look at verse number 10. My beloved spake and said, and I think it's so beautiful, rise up, my love, my fair one. Look at me. Next thing I want to say is, be sweet when you wake up in the morning. Look how they woke up. My beloved spake and said to me, rise up, my love, my fair one. Is that what you said in the morning? When's breakfast? Now listen to me. One of the sweet, boy, I'd love to take you couples into this and explain and talk into this. Be sweet to each other in the morning time. Tender words, kind expressions. Start the day off being friendly and sweet to each other when waking up. In other words, start the day lovingly. All right, I said number one, converse. And that's what they're doing here. Converse. I said number two, keep physically fit for each other. I said number three, want to be with each other. I said number four, be sweet when waking up. Now look at verse number 10 again. My beloved spake and said unto me, rise up, my love, my fair one. And that leads me to say this. Have sweet little pet names for each other. Like Silver Fox. Now, I mean that. For example, our daughters. I call all of our daughters Puddin'. If I see Cindy, hi Puddin'. No, all three of them, always call them Puddin'. That's the word. I always call Dave Doc. And I always call Miss Hobbs, none of your business. But I love little pet names. Now, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but Miss Hyles has a pet name for me. I think it's Rover. Oh, brother. Bulldog, that's what it is. That's what it is. Now, wait a minute. I'm talking about folks that have been married 40 years now. I'm talking about folks that have been married 25 years. I'm talking about little pet names for each other. Sweet, affectionate names. I was at church preaching. Pastor's going to ask his wife something. And he said, Mother, do you know what the answer to that is? I jumped up. I'm sitting over here. Jumped up. And I said, is she your mother? He said, it's my wife. I said, then you lied. You called her mother. And I was cutting up, but I was serious too. I said, what an awful thing. Call her whoopsie whoopsie, sweetie weepsie, lovey dovey. But don't call her mother. What a flattering name. You've heard the story. His house and I took our granddaughter and her husband out to eat. They had just gotten married several years ago, and they came up here she came to introduce her husband, so my grandson-in-law and my granddaughter. We took them out to eat over to a real nice restaurant. I've forgotten the name of it, but it had golden arches of it. And we took them out to a real nice restaurant really to eat. We're sitting there, and I was sitting here. My grandson-in-law was here. My Miss Hyles was here. My granddaughter over here. A waitress came up, and she said, may I take your order, please? I said, waitress, this is a big night for us. A big night. She said, is that right? I said, yes, ma'am. I said, pointed to my granddaughter, I said, this is my kid's sister. You call that lying. I pointed to my grandson-in-law, and I said, this is my younger brother. I pointed to Miss Hyles, and I said, this is our mother. I thought the gal would understand. Miss Hyles looks 10 years younger than I do, and I thought she'd understand. But she didn't, because she was a Yankee. Yes, amen, they said. So, I forgot about it. I said, this is a big day because this is Mother's birthday. And I said, my kid sister, my younger brother, and I are celebrating Mother's birthday. I thought the gal knew better than that. Meal was over, looked up, picking 13 waitresses walking toward our table, and our waitress carrying a birthday cake that big. A candle burning in the middle of it. 13 people sang, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear mother. My whole life flashed in front of me. And yet, of course, I was just kidding. We drove home, just the two of us. One of the quietest rides you've ever seen in your life. I drove about 3 miles an hour. We got home and I said, what'd you say? I said, I'm sorry. With a little sweet southern drawl, she said, what for? I said, you know what for. I said, everybody thinks you're my daughter. You are 10 years younger than I am, and I thought that stupid Yankee, what waitress would understand? And I said, I'm sorry. And she said, I thought that was fun. You call that lying also. Now, the truth is, I did it as a joke. But some of you rascals call your wife mother all the time. If she'll come to me, I'll give her a good lawyer's address and phone number. Now, the truth is, you ought to have sweet names for each other. Now, let's go down to the next one. Look at verse number 10 again, please. My beloved spake and said, rise up, my love, my fair one, By the way, you'll find in verse 14, he says, "Oh, my dove," he calls her his dove. In verse